I fucked up. I already fucked up, man.
Damn it.
Already.
Right. Well, yeah.
That's the end of it.
We'll just try again next
No,
week.
we'll never do this again. So this is me and Andre, also known as Dragon Kid 365.
What's up?
He never puts anything on his YouTube channel. Hey,
Of course.
we're gonna talk about Monster Hunter or some shit. I don't know. I'm gonna take this shit off though. Okay. So I guess we can do our introductions before.
Yeah. So, how'd you start playing Monster Hunter?
What?
How'd you start playing Monster Hunter?
How can you say that more clearly?
How did you start playing the series? Commonly known as Monster Hunter in the West.
I picked up a controller after I put the disc into the gaming console and I pushed the power button and I pushed start.
Which disc?
I think the first one that I actually got my hands onto was my brother's PSP version. Which one?
Monster Hunter Freedom. Right?
Yeah, Monster Hunter Freedom.
Yeah.
That's a fucking embarrassing ass story, man.
Man.
I went to go. He was like, "Here, try to play this." I said, "Okay." And I want to say it was Forest and Hills, which is now renamed in Generations some
Verdant Hills.
Yeah, some other shit. I don't know. So I was like, yeah, sure, okay. I'm like a little kid at this time, so I'm stupid and scared of everything. And I walk into a room, and it's like, it's the straightaway. There's a pond in there, and there's also Bullfango in there. I don't remember which area that is.
Area.
I hate all.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I hate all the areas. But I hate them in Generations. When it was first done, it was fine because it was relative to how the series was working, like the mechanics of the series.
Yeah.
But I I walked in there and I saw this Bullfango, and immediately I was just like, oh shit, and I got rammed out of the area into the next one, and I was like, I'm done with it. And then the next time I touched a Monster Hunter game was several years later, when Try was still kind of a thing, and I played a little bit of that, but not very much. And then I actually got into it with 3U. So that's my story.
Mm-hmm. And for me, way back when in high school, Lyssa gave me her PSP to hack, and she had Monster Hunter Freedom in there.
It wasn't hacking. It was just adding additional content. Don't look at me like that.
It was hacking, and so I hacked the shit out of it. It was great, and I played Monster Hunter Freedom for all of maybe 30 minutes. I had no idea what I was doing, and then I gave the PSP back the next day, and I was like, here you go. But I was interested in the Monster Hunter series, so I ended up emulating Monster Hunter Freedom Unite for a little bit, and
all this stuff is extremely illegal.
Yeah, it's very, very
but I mean,
legal.
of all the things that they could arrest us for, it's not that.
Of course.
I mean, being black and walking down the street, that's it. That's how you get arrested. Anyway.
But, and then, I played Freedom Unite for maybe a couple of hours total. I used dual blades there for a little bit. It wasn't bad, but I didn't really get hooked until after I graduated high school, and Lyssa convinced me to get 3 Ultimates.
I still feel like that wasn't when we graduated high school.
It was the summer. It was that summer.
I swear it was earlier.
I swear on my life it was. It was right after. So I remember it because I was going to work all the time, and then I was getting off work or whatever, and then you were going to work.
Hold on. Sorry. I win. Sorry, not supposed to check your text messages when you're doing stuff. Anyway.
But yeah, it was 3 Ultimates right after high school. That's what I really, really got hooked. Because when I say hooked, Lyssa and I played literally every day for a couple of months.
It was so our schedules were conflicting enough. So when I worked,
when she was going to work, I was getting off work.
He was getting off work and going to sleep, so he could go to work again. But when I got off work, sometimes it would line up so that way we could play a little bit before he left before work.
Yeah.
So it would be me waking up at like 4 a.m. To play Monster Hunter, and then him waking up at, I guess, what is essentially 4 a.m. to him.
Yeah.
to play. So that was kind of crazy. So I guess I'll go to the next slide.
Yeah.
To actually like do shit. Yay. I hope this isn't fucking overpowering as shit. We'll figure that out later.
So, let's say, like, for the games that we played, she's played, Freedom, Try, 3 Ultimate, 4 Ultimate, and Generations, and a little bit of the demo for, Double Cross, which is only in Japan, and I've also played, well, all those games minus Try. I didn't play the one on the Wii. I played the one on the Wii U for the Ultimate.
Dude, Try was weird as shit. Like, it was good from what I played of it, but again, I didn't get super into it, but fucking heavy bow guns were in pieces.
Yeah, like Monster Hunter
cut
is
my
like
life into pieces. This is my last resort.
Yeah, like Monster Hunter is one of those series that like each like different generation of the games, like 3, 4, and most now essentially 5.
Which is World.
They're just World. They build upon each other in a way that is hard for you to go back to previous generations, because they add like quality of life changes, and a lot of the times the move sets for the weapons are completely revamped.
Yeah. I mean, except for Generations. Like, first of all, Generations is a spinoff. Thank God. I know a lot of people actually enjoyed that game, but not me.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it too much either, to be honest.
Was not my favorite. I'll be careful because the stand.
Yeah, like it's not bad in my opinion, but it's just not what I would want for Monster Hunter to go. Like, you can just leave all that in Monster Hunter Frontier, which is the Japanese MMO version of Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it did feel very MMO-y with all the extra stuff they were doing. I just didn't like the fact that I no longer had to have skill to play the game. I'm saying that, and I know for a fact that there are at least some of my friends who aren't very well versed in Monster Hunter. They had some difficulties in Generations, but that's fair because it's getting introduced to a new game, new style and everything. But personally, after going from, I guess, essentially fully enjoying 3U and then 4U and then getting Generations, it was not my favorite thing.
Yeah, like to give you like a kind of a feel for how we played it for like a couple of like days or maybe like a week when it first came out, and then we didn't touch the game for about a year. Yeah,
which doesn't happen.
Yeah, especially not with Monster Hunter. For a game that we used to play every day for months on end, for playing it for like a week and then not playing Monster Hunter for like a whole year because it turned us off that bad.
It didn't feel good. What is the bow? The Bow of Hope and Valor. What is it actually called?
The
bow of skill and balance.
Yeah, the bow of skill and balance. Oh my goodness
all you
gracious.
For that game, all you had to do is get add up style, which means you hit B and you dodge everything forever.
Pretty much.
And you have the Bow of Hope and Valor, and everything dies. Alright.
Yeah, the game was probably one of the most unbalanced Monster Hunters to date. Yeah. But anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
So, I think... Is this say 9? Did you put 9 there? Oh. Why are you whispering? Okay. Alright. Shut. Alright, anyway. I guess now we are going to talk about the weapons of Monster Hunter, because they're pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, like one of the first things you'll really like get to do in Monster Hunter, when you first go into Monster Hunter games, whether we're usually going to do this thing, you're on a gathering quest where you just go out and you like collect herbs and like materials and stuff, like items and stuff.
That's actually when a lot of new players tend to drop off, is because the introduction, which is essentially the tutorial, those are what the gathering quests are, they take like an hour or something.
They take a couple of hours to knock out.
And the long run isn't, it's not that big a chunk of time, but when you're first starting out and you don't understand the depth of the game, that's a turnoff. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, it's pretty great. But you need the gathering quests because they make it kind of integral.
They give you a foundation to build off of.
Yeah, and they also give you the items that you need to just go further in the game.
Like, during those quests, you really want to encounter any big monsters. You encounter small monsters, which are perfect monsters to practice, your combos on.
Yeah.
Like, Monster Hunter has, I believe it's 14 different weapon types now.
Yes, at this point, yes.
And they're separated into 2 categories. You have Blade Master, which is up close and personal weapons or melee weapons, and then Gunner weapons, which are long-range weapons. And let's see if I can name all 14. Let's see. You have
you got Great Sword. You got
long sword, dual blade, sword and shield, lance, gun lance, switch axe, insect glaive, charge blade.
Now we're on to the. Oh wait, shit! What did we forget?
We're missing something. Ah, man.
Oh, fuck.
Hunting horn,
hammer. Hunting horn and hammer.
Yeah.
How did we forget those?
Hunting horn and hammer, and then
you have the gun weapons, which are light bow gun, heavy bow gun, and bow.
Yeah, and my personal favorite and the objective best weapon in the game is dual blades.
Shut up!
They are objectively the best weapon type. If you don't use it, that's okay.
And did you see
I want to let you know that you're just not, you're not as cool as me.
Did you see the animation for dual blades? You do a fucking Naruto run.
Oh yeah.
You do, and that's
in the newest game, like you hold the dual blade, like backhand style, and you just go into a Naruto run, and it is
so
like I don't care what anybody says. That's cool.
Yeah, if you're a weeb.
If you're playing Monster Hunter, come on.
I'm not a weeb.
You're playing Monster Hunter.
Excuse me.
Do not deny it.
Look, it's not my fault that I like big weapons and big monsters.
And you also like anime as well.
Not as much as a lot of other people, to be fair.
But you still like it, though.
You can like anime without being a weeb.
But you also like Japanese games,
Most of the games are Japanese. They have the monopoly on video games. Anyway, what am I gonna do with Bethesda? All the glitches I've been playing. I've been playing non-stop Skyrim.
Within Blade Master, there's like a subset of weapons. There's the cutting weapons, and there's the blunt weapons. And the only blunt weapons in Blade Master that do basically exclusively blunt damage are hammer and hunting horn.
Actually, the little handle jab does a little bit of cutting.
All right.
It doesn't count. It basically
does not count.
You helped me cut off a tail with it
one time. That was absolute pain.
It was so stupid. I
hated it. It was complete torture.
That was because I was using the bow of skill and balance.
But what the blunt weapons do is if you hit the head, you get KO damage, and you can actually just knock the monster out.
Yeah, it's actually very important to know that certain weapons do have certain sweet spots that you want to hit on the monster.
Yeah.
Cutting weapons, a lot of times, monsters have tails you can cut off, you want to go for the tails. Also, their necks are pretty susceptible.
Yeah, the necks are also pretty.
So you're basically a guillotine on like switch axe, please.
But if you're doing blunt damage, you're almost always going to want to be hitting the head as much as possible.
Yes.
In order to do that, you're really going to want to, in a sense, learn the monster, and that's the thing you'll get with just practice and repetition.
A lot of times you can actually figure out a monster's patterns just by walking the area and seeing what it does. Don't pull out your weapon first. You don't have to. I mean, I do, but...
yeah, honestly, if you really do want to get a feel for the monster, just observe it for a bit, You can take a quest and, mainly just, you still want to kill the monster in a sense, but you do want to take some time to learn how the monster moves. And the best way to do that is to go in the quest alone, with no cats.
Oh, yeah.
Just by
speaking
yourself.
Of which, you do have, palicos, and in 3U and Try, you have... Shakalakas. They're just little people.
Yeah,
they're essentially like your sidekicks.
Yeah.
That suck. Shakalakas were actually pretty good. 3U had both of them. Try, I only think it had
Try only had one. 3U had two, and then 4U you have two cats to help you out.
Which is back to the original formula.
Yeah. Which is okay. The cats are fairly customizable. You know, you can give them different weapons.
You can actually change the way they look too when you first get them.
They even have their own little armor sets and all that. You know, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
But like again, if you really do want to learn a monster, you want to be the only one in there. And while it may feel harder, at least at first, because the monster will always be attacking you, since it will always be attacking you, you will know how that monster moves. You will learn its patterns. You'll learn how to duck and dodge and duck and weave, you know, through all of its little different moves and nuances and all that.
Timing is important. So the heavier weapon that you have, you're just gonna move slower.
Yeah.
But not because it's a different weapon. Like there are light weapons and there are heavy weapons.
Yeah.
But if you get a big heavy weapon, it's not gonna move any slower than the smaller heavy weapon, if that makes any sense.
Like
so this goes for the light weapons.
For the most part, most of the weapons, if you know the monster and you know your weapon, the damage you'll be doing is going to be comparable.
Yeah.
Like you'll unless you're honestly speed running, weapon balance isn't that big of a deal unless you like gun lance. And
okay, so I really do like gun lance. It's a freaking lance with a shotgun in it. Who doesn't like that? Like that's awesome.
Capcom doesn't like it.
Capcom does not like gun lance. They nerf it all the time, and it for no reason, because it's not like it's one of those.
It's not a very
Switch X.
Like powerful, overpowered weapon.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not power file Switch X or Charge Blade
or heavy bowgun.
I don't think heavy bowgun's broken.
Heavy bowgun. Look, you're just saying because you like it, but a good heavy bowgun user can shut down a monster.
Yeah, but a good...
Again, this is speedrunning terms now, but like a good heavy bowgun user can shut down a monster in like no time flat. Like,
I honestly think that if you're good at most weapons, you can do that.
I mean, yeah. If you look at the speedrunning charts, the margins aren't really like that big. I believe they're all within like a minute or two of each other, if that.
Yeah.
Like.
Another important thing that you need to know about weapons is that some of them have different combos that lead into new things, and those combos can put you in a tight situation because you move slower and you're kind of stuck in that animation, which can get you totally wrecked.
Yeah, you have like dedicated animations. A good example is dual blades, which are honestly like the fastest hitting blade master weapon in the game, but they have fairly long animations as well.
And they technically have the least damage.
Yeah, they have the least damage per hit because they attack so many times. Which is why
they're really good for status, which we'll get into later. But.
Yeah, like status and element. But like you really want to stick to the monster like glue. Like a lot of the things that I find myself doing whenever I go with dual blades is I just cut off the monster's ankles the entire quest and then they die.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to really know the monster and know how to duck and dodge and all its moves and all that, so you can stay on it the entire quest. And that becomes another problem, which is sharpness. For blade master weapons, every time you hit, you drop like a point of sharpness, and your weapons get dull. When they get duller, they change to a different like sharpness color. And then you'll be doing less damage.
Your sharpness gauge is going to be in the upper left-hand corner of the screen underneath your health and your stamina bar, which is also near where the time is. Most quests have a 50-minute time limit. Some of them have less.
Yes.
But,
like, if you're playing any of the demos, like, for example, the Monster Hunter World demo that's going to come out soon, I believe they give you 15 minutes for each quest in the demos.
Do they?
Yeah, I believe it's like 15 or 20 minutes.
But then how are they doing the 30-minute demo videos?
Those are like different builds of the demo, though.
I don't know. I figured they would release
either
the same
it's
build.
like 15 or 30. It's a lot shorter. That's the point, you know.
Yeah.
But sharpness is an important thing because you not only do less damage, sometimes monsters will have tough hides, so if your weapon isn't sharp enough, you'll just bounce right off the monster.
Which does less damage and makes your sharpness go down even faster.
Yes, and it puts you in an animation that you cannot easily get out of.
You can easily get wrecked while you're bouncing off a monster. If you notice that you're bouncing, just go ahead and find a safe space and go ahead and sharpen, because it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, Monster Hunter honestly is a game where you really want to learn.
Check out this guy mining. That doesn't look like me, except there needs to be a giant monster in the middle.
Oh, of course. You just love mining with danger around.
I love
need
just
that adrenaline spike.
Like mid hunt, I'll stop doing whatever I'm doing. I'm like, I gotta go gather.
You will never forget your gathering roots. you should gather whenever possible, unless your life is on the line. Like, then don't do it.
Nah, do it anyway.
Nah.
As a matter of fact, get to the lowest health possible before you start walking away to go gather.
That way you can really just feel the rush.
God, Rathalos, please. Got wrecked. It's a lot worse to see like what actually happens to the monsters once you bring them back. But this is so cool.
It is really cool.
I really wish they'd do more of these like openings. Anyway, what do we need to talk about next?
Oh yeah, armor.
Yeah, I guess
another one of the main things of Monster Hunter is that you like the gameplay loop. You fight monsters to get parts from monsters to make better armor to fight more monsters.
Yeah, that's literally, if you get into Monster Hunter, this is what you're going to be doing. It is.
Yes.
It is actually a Monster Hunter grind.
Mm-hmm. But the grind is fun. That's the point.
I really am excited for Grind the World.
And every armor will give you points into armor skills. Now they're gonna revamp how this works in World, but how it works right now is that if you have each armor piece will give you points in different skills. Once it gets to a base positive 10, then you activate that skill. For example,
it doesn't matter which version of the base you get. You can get positive 10 or you can get negative 10.
Yeah,
and negative 10 is the exact opposite of what you would have gained.
Which will actually give you a negative skill. So they have
bad.
Like a basic example is if you have 10 points in attack, positive, 10 points, you get attack up small. If you have negative 10 points, you get attack down small.
Do you actually get attack down?
Yeah, you do.
I've never tried that.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a very bad.
All right.
Just like there's defense up when you have 10, and then there's defense down if you have negative 10.
Can you imagine having defense down and then getting hit by a defense down attack and then getting smacked around by a monster?
Just go ahead.
I mean, you might as well have been wearing paper.
Just triple card at that point. That's another thing. You get 3 feints per quest. At the 3rd feint, the quest is deemed a
completely
failure,
over,
and then you get kicked back to the camp.
We gotta tell that Ucamla story.
Oh my goodness.
Also, it's not always just 10. Some skills give you up to 20.
Yeah. There's different tiers. I was gonna go on with that too. So if you have 15 points in attack, you get attack up medium. If you have 20 points to attack, you get attack up large. And then in 4 Ultimate, if you have 25 points in attack, you get attack up extra large.
And that means you smack it around, just get the biggest damaging weapon that you can get, and just watch them die.
Yes. You can mix and match armor sets.
We're already at 3U.
You don't
always have enough time.
You don't always have to have a full set of armor. You can do mix match, which are called clown suits. And normally, actually, those would give you even better skills than a full set of armor at the cost of fashion. Fashion
is extremely important.
I personally like to use full sets because they're just better, and if you don't like full sets, then that's okay.
I used a good few mixed sets.
But you're lesser than me.
Shut up. I've used a good few mixed sets depending on the situation, and actually they wind up faring me quite well.
Yeah, honestly, I've used mixed sets as well before. So
never underestimate the power of just armor in general.
Yeah. You can get some crazy, good skills all mixed up together with a mixed set.
Yeah. Something that you should know is that there is a difference between Blade Master and Gun and Weapon, at least right now. In World, I believe that changes a bit.
Yeah. You mean the armor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I meant
to say armor if I didn't.
Yeah, but before World, on average, the Gunner weapons will have half the defense of Blade Master armor. As I would say.
They also have different skills because they promote different things.
Yeah.
Let's see.
For example, reload up, which will increase your reload speed for gunner weapons. And since there really is no reload speed on Blade Master weapons,
they normally have sharpener or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which will help.
And you don't sharpen blade or gunner weapons, so those are different. And the gunner weapons gunner armor. I keep saying weapons. They look different. Slightly different. They're the same materials and all that.
Sometimes they look cooler for gunners. I'm not biased.
No bias at all. Just cool. You know?
I really like heavy bowgun and bow.
I believe the big balance as
And
to
switch
why gunner weapons have less defense or gunner armor has less defense. Keep saying about
Because no, the weapons have more defense because you can put a shield on it.
True. But it's because you're farther away from the monsters, so you generally have more time to react. And you also draw, from what I understand, you draw more aggro for the monster as well.
Because of the sound that the gun makes, monsters tend to target you more. Actually, there's a skill that makes that even worse, where they target you even more. which is
it's a negative skill, and it could be useful, you know, if you are like a blade master and you want to be targeted by the monster more, so the gunner has more time to, you know, like pelt the monster with bullets and other goodies. You know?
Yeah.
And another thing is that armor can also have little slots in them, and you can put decorations in there,
which are increasing or decreasing the armor skills that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so you can, in a sense, what's normally
force...
called gem in a skill that an armor wouldn't necessarily normally have,
or at least make it stronger.
Yeah.
For instance, again, back to the attack, if your armor comes with attack up small, you can oftentimes get it at least up to medium.
Yeah.
And it's also using decorations is a good way to counteract negative armor skills that you don't want. You can just put in a positive version of it, and most of the time it's only one gem that you need, because so long as the total doesn't match up to -10, you're fine.
Yeah. Another thing is that weapons also, not all the time, mind you, but they also have elements and
weapons also have slots as well.
Yeah, weapons also have slots.
So you can put stuff.
Yeah,
sorry.
But I don't remember how many elements there are, but there's fire, water, ice, thunder, and dragon. I believe that should be all the status, right? Or the elements.
Yeah.
So this is 5.
I mean,
and more often than not, the most useful element in most Monster Hunter games is thunder, because a lot of the enemies are weak to thunder, and a lot of the stronger monsters are weak to thunder.
Yeah, a good way for checking enemy weaknesses, if you aren't gonna look it up, you could just look at the armor if you have it.
Yeah.
And it shows
the elemental weaknesses for each armor.
Yeah.
And whatever the armor is, the weakest elemental weakness is what that monster that the armor is made from is weakest to.
Yeah.
And you can also have status effects, like Paralyze, which will, after you hit the monster enough, it will paralyze the monster for a bit.
And if you get hit by a paralyzed attack, you are laying on the ground,
paralyzed.
And nothing can wake you up. It sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. There's poison. When you hit the monster, not the monster is poison.
Except,
same thing can happen to you if you were hit by a poison attack.
Unfortunately, there's like an extremely bad version of poison that only affects people. I think it's like red.
Yeah, like once you get into the higher ranks and later into the game, the monsters will have a stronger version of poison, which saps your health even faster.
It looks really funny when you run around and you're dying and you're screaming, "Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!"
Yeah, and there's also a sleep status effect, and when you're hit by a sleep attack, you stumble around for a bit, which gives you a chance for someone to hit you, or you can use an item to make yourself not fall asleep.
Yeah, energy drinks.
Yeah, and if you hit the monster, if you have sleep status on your weapon, you hit the monster enough, they will fall asleep.
Yeah,
and this is important because there's an attack modifier for the first attack is done on a monster when they are asleep, and there's an even greater modifier for a bomb used on a sleeping monster.
Yeah.
So, like an effective strategy, a very popular strategy is called sleep bombing, and it's exactly as it sounds.
Something that you should know.
Set a whole bunch of bombs, and then you light the bombs up.
Yeah, something that you should know about waking a monster up is that depending on what kind of weapon you have, it may look like one attack, but it can compound as many attacks. Like Gun Lance, Wyvern Fire is not.
I believe it's like 3 and 5 different hits. I think it's like 5 different hits total.
Whatever it is, it's not one hit, which means that you don't actually get that big of a bonus from it. Look at that heavy bowgun. Delicious.
Only one of those hits, will actually get the double modifier.
Yeah.
And bombs get a 3 times modifier, just so you know. Yeah.
A lot of times people who have greatsword do a triple charge. We actually didn't talk about the combos of weapons.
That would take way too long.
It's gonna take way too long.
Very nuanced. To be honest, if you really do want to learn a lot about the weapon combos and stuff, Gaijin Hunter has a very great series of videos very, very in depth on every single weapon attack and combos and for you.
And doesn't he also? Who has the ones that are different breakdowns from the different like games? Because depending on what game you have, some of the weapons will have different combos.
Yeah, I mean, he goes with the combos too. I think he also did it for Generations as well.
Yeah.
So, if you have Generations or For You, Gaijin Hunter has honestly the best weapon tutorials on YouTube right now.
Those would be great to look at. We have... What else? Monster, we talk about that? Oh, I guess now we can start with some of our awesome stories of actual... like Monster Hunter.
Yeah, the first time Monster Hunter really, really clicked for us was when we were playing 3U and we were fighting a monster called a Kurapeko.
Yeah, it's a big, gross bird
with like a trumpet beak.
Yeah,
and its gimmick is that it can call other monsters into battle by mimicking their calls.
When you're playing on offline mode, it calls in a Great Jaggy, which is like it's like a chew toy.
Yeah, like, it's one of the first big monsters you fight, and by that time, honestly, you should have no problem with Great Jaggy.
Actually, Great Jaggy has a really good attack up set that you can just have.
Yeah, it's a
really
great initial set for you to get too.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Which I really like about that. Like, some of the beginner monsters aren't always great like that, giving you good skill, but Great Jaggy does.
And so we were online fighting a Kurapeko, and it called a monster. And to be honest, I don't think we realized what monster it called until it was already in. And what it called in was the Rathian.
Which is the wife of Rathlos, which is the very first Monster Hunter.
Yeah, they're the poster monsters for Monster Hunter. They're in every single Monster Hunter game.
The very first video had the Rathlos in it, was the big red dragon. Actually, this person right here is wearing Rathlos armor right now.
Yeah. But it called Rathian down. And... by that point, even though the point of the quest was just to kill Kurapeko, we were feeling ballsy, and we were like, you know what? Let's just go kill this Rathian.
Like, hey, do you want to just do this? Let's go do it.
Like, we didn't necessarily prepare for two monsters, but we felt confident enough where we would just
halted all progress
and just go defeat that Rathian.
We threw poop at Kurapeko.
Yeah,
which is you can gather dung and you can throw dung bombs, and they make the monsters
basically
leave
just run away from you.
Something that we didn't talk about was that the more you use something, any kind of item on a monster, the more resistant it gets to it.
From 3U onwards, the monsters start to get resistances to status effects.
Yeah, so or traps like this.
And traps as well. So
they don't stand as long.
The more you use a status or a trap during a quest, the faster a monster will get out of that. And they'll recover from it. But yeah, we used Poop on Kurapeko, and then we just wailed on Rathian.
Yeah. You were using dual blades and I was using Switch X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we went in and we destroyed we completely just eradicated Rathian. And it was like
that was the moment
that Monster Hunter clicked. It was just like, this feels amazing.
This feels so good.
Yes.
Like, we just did that. And then after that, we were kind of hooked.
Yeah, and to this day, we still have,
I don't think they're not
feelings like that.
Yeah, there's some gaps in between that, but there's always, every now and then, we're just like, oh my god, did you see that? Like, whoa, yeah.
Like, one of the things that we did recently, we were fighting a Nucanlos, which is like a giant ice...
It's a giant ice shovel.
Yeah. We like to call it Jay Leno because he has a big chin.
Yeah, that and who else is Jay Leno?
Uragan.
Yeah, Uragan.
Yeah.
All the
Uragan. We were having a bit of a tough time during that quest.
Well, someone was. I was fine.
Yeah, I was having a very tough time during that quest, and I died twice. And as you know, one more death, and that will be the end of the quest. And we were at the end of our rope. We had no more healing items between the both of us.
I think I had some more, but it was really rough.
Man, like it was terrible.
I didn't see what happened. I like tossed my bug out and hit the Ucanos. I was using Insect Glaive, which, by the way, the bug does a little bit of damage. Not that much, but a little bit.
It adds up, and it's pretty cool when the bug kills the monster.
Especially in that instance when the bug killed the monster, but I saw that on my screen. What he saw on his screen was that he died.
Yes, I got, like, Lyssa hit the monster and killed it, the exact same moment that I died. So I was like, we were really into it. So when I died, I screamed. It was like, no, right?
No.
Like,
Okay.
look, I'm not gonna recreate the scream now.
He can't actually recreate the scream. But what you need to do is go back and find someone. Just go find one of my videos where I'm screaming, and then just replace that with this guy's like manly voice, and that came through my earphones. Just
because the third card means you fail the quest.
Yeah.
And I see y'all, you fainted. And I see return to base camp instead of no continues remaining. And then when I returned to base camp, it says quest completed.
And we were freaking out. Once I realized what happened, I was like, wait, did you die? He was like, yeah. Oh my god.
Like, that is a straight up glitch right there.
That literally should not happen.
Yeah,
I've never
like,
ever heard of that happening.
That made my whole day.
Oh, that was so good.
That was the most recent quest.
Great.
That was just the most fun ever.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how Monster Hunter is. It went from a really, really terrible and stressful quest to
amazing.
Oh my god, we just did that in an instant. Monster Hunter gives you that feeling of overcoming just impossible odds.
It really does.
Man.
How would you describe the difficulty of Monster Hunter?
The difficulty, I want to say like it has a very gradual curve in the beginning. The first couple ranks, the first couple stars, because there's different tiers of quests that have different stars.
Which introduce new monsters.
Yes.
And eventually...
But then I want to say the game, depending on the game you play, I want to say For You has a fairly gradual learning curve.
For You is actually really good for beginners. If 4 isn't out yet by the time you listen to this, I guess, you can go ahead and check out For You if you're curious about the gameplay.
Like, For You has probably one of the best learning curves in there because it gradually eases you into the harder and harder quests, and it also doesn't shy away from letting you fight big monsters earlier than other games.
Yeah, what was the first big monster?
Celtis.
Okay.
I believe, it was Celtis.
It was Celtis, but Celtis doesn't count. I'm talking about, like, Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl was one of the first monsters that, you really have to, like, learn the monster. The game doesn't hold your hand, but it also doesn't just throw you in the deep end. It kind of just...
You're not starting out fighting Fatalis.
Yeah.
You got Crimson Fatty, go!
You don't start off in the 12-foot part of the pool, you kind of start off, like, almost in the middle, and then it just grabs you, pushes you towards the deep end, and before you know it, you're fighting, 2 or 3 monsters in one quest, and, you're doing it all, You know
what I noticed is that when you start off in Monster Hunter, they actually do introduce, like, the theoretical big bad monster that you're going to be fighting eventually, like, quite early on.
They do, which always gives you a nice goal, because you're like, I'm going to fight that. Like, I want to beat that
It's like Mega Man X, when you first see, what is it, Zero?
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to be like him! Because he got to beat the guy who was beating you up, and it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was the end of the video. I would play it again. Have more Monster Hunter, you guys. Because we still have stuff that we can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, what I think would be pretty great is, I guess, like, if you think we should do an actual breakdown of different stuff, we could talk about that on, like, different videos so we can actually get more in depth about it.
Yeah, I actually would like to do some more, like, videos and stuff like this.
Okay, I find this actually quite pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, at some point, we'll have Monster Hunter World footage that we can put up here, and not just the openings.
It'll be our own.
Footage, and
yes.
which is why I'm only doing openings, because I didn't want to grab footage of other people's gameplay to put up on here. So
because 3DS capture card is too expensive.
It's too expensive, and it's gonna take like 5 years for it to actually be done.
We would actually have Monster Hunter World by the time we get it back anyway.
We would be like done with Monster Hunter World by the time.
Man.
If you don't understand, this game is like a time suck.
Oh my goodness.
It takes a lot, but you don't...
Like, to give you a good example of how many hours you get into the game, I have 71% completion, because there's the games have their own achievement system, and I guess Monster Hunter World will have a regular achievement system since it's on PS4, but for the 3DS, in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, I have 71% completion, and I have over 600 hours in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how much time I can spend on Skyrim. I can spend that amount of time on Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Like Monster Hunter, you will always have stuff to do.
Even if you don't think you have stuff to do, you can find stuff to do.
And the thing is, like, you don't have to necessarily spend that much time on the game. You know,
No.
you set goals for yourself. You're saying, okay, I want this armor, so I'm gonna have to fight this monster for it. Or I want this weapon, I'm gonna have to fight these monsters for it. I want this, or I want that. You can honestly just say, oh, I only want this one, and just go straight with it.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the time that it takes in the game is you trying to find the item that you need, because more often than not, it's like one item that you have left and it's like super rare, and you're just like, I have to find this. And you're like killing this monster over and over again, which is when you wind up wanting to call in your friends to be like, hey, I don't want to do this, help me.
Yeah. Well, honestly, well, a lot of the times that makes up Monster Hunter fun is playing with friends. You can have up to 4-player co-op.
Yeah. In World, it's still 4-player co-op, but they're making it so more people can be in
a room at one time.
The hunting halls.
Yeah.
Whatever. Which might not make sense to a lot of people who don't play the game, but it's really good for like community building, and if people just want to hang out and chill, or a group of people want to go on one quest and another group of people want to go on a different quest, they don't have to leave the hall. They can just go. Yeah. Which is great. I would really like it if we found people who wanted to play this game with us, like I guess from watching videos or watching Twitch or whatever, and would jump in and play with us.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice. I would love that.
I think right now would be a good time to mention that we're gonna plan on doing a 24-hour stream once World gets released. Mm-hmm. So if you're watching this and you happen to want to play Monster Hunter World, then by all means grab it and we'll play the 24 hours. Also, when the demo comes out,
we're definitely gonna be doing the stream when the demo comes out as well.
We're gonna be doing a test stream which might last many hours. Mm-hmm. What was your face for?
No, because I remembered I have Final Fantasy 15 in my book bag.
Oh, good. That was completely irrelevant.
Very irrelevant.
But
terrible game, by the way.
Whenever the demo comes out, which is actually not next week, the week after that?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, the week after next, the demo is up for 3 days?
Yeah, the 9th, 10th, and the 11th, I believe.
Of December. And once that becomes available, you best believe I'm going to have it in my in my possession, and I'm gonna drag Andre along to play.
Oh yes, and I really, really hope that they just extend the demo a bit, because that will be really nice. I mean, I like demos and all that, but I don't feel like playing it for 3 days. I'd rather play it 3 times a day until World comes out.
I think something that's really interesting about World is that they are making it so multiple monsters can just spawn in at any given point. So in previous games, you could have up to 3 monsters in the map at one time.
That's only 2, isn't it?
Up to 2 monsters, sorry.
Yeah.
Up to 2 monsters spawn in a map at one time, and then occasionally another one would spawn.
Yeah. This one, you can have like 3 monsters just roaming about all at once.
Interacting with the entire environment. That's gonna be so great. I love the fact that we're gonna see like the ecosystem itself.
And the monsters can also fight each other finally.
Yeah.
A funny thing was that in the previous games, you can even see cutscenes where 2 monsters are fighting each other, right? Mm-hmm. But then as soon as they see you, they gun right towards you. You are the apex predator, and they stop everything to crush some human.
You're like a little ant to them.
But like in World, they finally realize that monsters can fight each other sometimes.
Monsters should be able to fight each other.
So when they see each other, they might have a little skirmish, and one of them's going to run away, most likely, after this little skirmish. But the point is, they fight each other now.
Do you know
which is really great.
I think that Devil Joe just won't care, regardless.
Devil Joe would just fight anything and everything.
Devil Joe, also referred to as the Big Angry Pickle.
Yeah, has an insatiable appetite, will eat anything.
Will even eat its own tail.
Yes, it will eat its own tail. That's one time, the Kurapeko, that monster that can call any other monster with it, will call a Devil Joe, and then if you kill the Kurapeko, the Devil Joe might actually start just eating the Kurapeko.
Which will which actually ruins it for you if you allow that to happen because you have to carve the monster to get the items from it.
Yeah, and if it finishes eating, the body will disappear.
Yeah. So, oh my god, I never saw Kezu just like, I didn't see that before, where Kezu was like, no.
Kezu is the third best monster.
Kezu is, actually, it has the best theme.
Best theme in actually the game. That's something we didn't really touch on. The music for Monster Hunter is pretty great.
Yeah.
Most monsters or areas have their own unique music. Like, let's put it like this. The flagship, which is the poster monster for each game, will have its own unique theme.
Yes.
And then every other monster will just have a theme for the area that they're fighting
Unless it's Devil Joe. Devil Joe's theme trumps all other themes.
Yeah, Devil Joe's theme will actually override every other theme in the game, no matter what.
I don't know why
whenever
they made
it
him
shows
that
up,
way, but
its
I love
music
it.
now the whole area becomes its area. It is its music playing, and it's letting you know that hey,
it's great.
Devil Joe is here.
Something else that's important about World. If you haven't been looking at the information that's going on around about it, in previous Monster Hunter games, there are different areas that you have to load into, so you can actually run away from an area that a monster is in, and you'd be safe in the next one, and you can do whatever it is that you need to do, heal or sharpen, what have you. In World U, in Monster Hunter World, you don't have
loading screens.
You don't have that option. There are no loading screens. Monsters can and probably, depending on what it is, they can and will chase you.
Yeah, like they're one of the monsters they're showing off right now, which is the Anjanath. When it gets mad, the monster will chase you pretty much wherever.
Yeah.
So you really can't escape when it's mad. It will chase you down.
It's pretty funny.
It's also really cool because since you have environmental traps in Monster Hunter World, you can just lead it into a trap very easily.
Yeah. I can't wait to explore all the different stuff. What I'm really excited about is just like looking at the world itself and just seeing what's going on around. Like, man.
We kind of got off on a
big
tangent just talking about World.
We did. But that's not what we're here for. I mean, as you can tell, we're really excited about this. I'm like so happy to be a part of Monster Hunter community just because of the different like developers that they're doing on it right now. They actually really care about these games.
Yeah, which is very, very nice. And to be honest, I was very cautious when I first saw Monster Hunter World. You know, until I saw more of it, and then I realized that it honestly is just the same Monster Hunter that we know and love, just with a fresh coat of paint and some quality of life changes that it needed a couple years ago, to be honest.
Yeah. What actually happened, for me at least, was everybody who knows me and my love for Monster Hunter started freaking out and spamming me with like Monster Hunter World stuff. And I was pissed. I was like, stop it. I don't want this shit. But I didn't say it to anybody. I was like, okay, I'll look at it later. And I never looked at it until until I just saw a trailer and I was like, it's actual gameplay footage. Oh my gosh. And I started freaking out.
Trailers.
Like,
oh my goodness.
I tried my best to not get hype, and I lasted 4 days.
If that.
It was like 4 days after E3 and I was like, I'll watch a little bit of it, and I was lost.
It was all downhill from there. You got all in.
Yeah. But I stay away from spoilers and stuff, so I don't really know a lot about Monster Hunter World.
Yeah, like I usually spoil myself for games with trailers and all that, but I'm really actually not doing this with World. Like I've seen the trailers, but I haven't seen all of like the extensive like hours and hours of gameplay that are out there on YouTube because I really want it to be a fresh experience when I get in there, you know.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of a gameplay video and realized, wow, this is actually too much for my mind to take in right now. And I had to stop. And I was like, I don't want to spoil it for myself. I want to have genuine like legitimate feelings when I go and play the game for the first time, and it's gonna be all live, and you know, everyone can see and or hear me freak out. I don't think I have a face cam. Can't make me show my face.
It's okay, they won't need it. They'll be able to tell what's going on in your face.
Yeah,
the sound and tone of your voice.
Yeah,
you'll be freaking the hell out.
If you don't know this about me, my reactions are more often than not genuine.
They're priceless.
They're priceless. Because I don't know, I don't like forced reactions. Anyway, another tangent for another day. Is there anything else that we need to talk about?
I mean, that's pretty much it for now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Alright. Well,
because we went off on a big tangent, but
yeah,
that's alright. Because Monster Hunter is great.
It's pretty great. So, I guess, what do I have, like, a YouTube channel, which this is gonna be on, and I have Twitch, which is on my YouTube channel. I have a Twitter that I'm never on, because I am allergic to social media, and Andre has
nothing.
He has a YouTube channel that he does occasional streams on, but he doesn't like people to watch him because he's weird about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure that please, if you want to see Monster Hunter streams and stuff, check out this guy Higgins3.
Yeah, I think it's like Higgins3.
It's like 3 eyes.
Yeah.
Higgins with 3 eyes at the end. He's a really cool dude. He's pretty chill. I don't think this message is gonna get to anybody. Like, if you lasted this long through the video, congratulations.
Oh yeah.
Congrats.
You deserve a medal for all listening to all this rambling about Monster Hunter.
Yeah. The reason why I didn't want it, I figured if it was like a podcast, we could talk about it for a really long time, and people could just like listen to it in the background of whatever.
I love those videos, to be honest. So you just have something nice listening to in the background. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. And if you're not us, you might actually enjoy this video. I know I won't be listening to it. Yeah, but I think that's about it. What is that bullshit people say at the end of the videos? Like, comment, and subscribe, guys.
Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe for more. Smash that motherfucking like button, you know what I'm saying? You know, it can really help me out. You know, you all have a beautiful, wonderful rest of the day, and I will talk to you later.
And if it's nighttime, go to bed. Alright, Capcom presents us leaving. Oh gosh, that was... Okay, thanks, bye! 100% best outro ever.
Best outro.
Not even...
Best outro all years, every year.
God, all year.